Hello and welcome to another podcast of M&H Consultants. As usual, we are together. M is Anita here, my partner, and I am Ron Howard. We have a very, very special guest today. We're going to learn all about positivity. But before we introduce him, I just want to say I'm wearing this shirt. It's because it's summer and I'm always told that I'm too formal. So welcome to the summer. You will see we have more than just breakfast on the table. We have a lot of books as well because our guest is an author and a very successful author. So go ahead, Anita, please announce who it is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. Today we have Mohammed Isa with us. He's very well known already in the country and a lot of other places in the world as a very renowned speaker. He's a business coach and he's somebody who firmly believes to give back to the community. And here we have a lot of books that Mohammed has written himself. It's called, the one that I bought from Jashanmal very recently, after I got to know him on LinkedIn, is the Golden Rules of Success. And there are a couple of other books.
Chai Karak.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And on startups.
And there is this entire Accelerate series, which is also an academy, which we'll come to later. He's done a lot of Accelerate series on different topics, how to accelerate your business, how to accelerate sales, your career, yourself, a lot of such interesting and inspiring topics that he's written on.
And we also have breakfast.
Yes, of course we have breakfast.
So we have chai karak and we have breakfast.
Yes.
Yes,
That's good.
but we don't have chai karak for breakfast.
Yeah, we can have the book.
I have the largest cup of tea I've ever had, but thank you very much for
And we
that.
have coffee from Karibu and some sandwiches from Karibu, but your tea is from Starbucks.
Yes,
Yeah.
because they didn't have it in Caribou. Did
Yeah, looks like that. So welcome, Mohammed.
Yes,
and
welcome.
Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. It's a pleasure being with you, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll have a very positive conversation, hopefully.
Absolutely, and I
I'm
hope
very
we will
sure
learn
about
something
it.
from you.
Yes,
Yes.
we're looking forward to that. So we're so thrilled to have you. And shall we begin about how all of this happened in your life? How did you step into the world of speaking, of writing these books, and becoming a business coach?
Okay, how we started. We started a very long time ago. This was in the making since a young age. I had a very beautiful teacher, a Bahraini teacher. Her name was Tarfa Abdurrahman, and she always encouraged us to write.
Okay.
And she was my teacher from grade 1 until grade 3. So I owe the writing gift and spirit to her because she was always encouraging. No matter what you write, she will always say bravo,
Okay.
well done. And that's how we were encouraged. So I always enjoyed writing. And in 2001, when I joined the multinational company Unilever, I continued writing. I was contributing to the newsletter all the time. And there is something I need to highlight. We were called Unilever Arabia, so we covered the North Africa, Middle East, and Turkey. And I was the first one from Unilever Arabia to be featured in the global newsletter
Oh, nice.
because of one article I wrote.
Excellent.
So that article went to 250,000 employees of Unilever worldwide. So that was an achievement, and this is something I cherish. But I made a mistake that time
Okay.
because when this came out, I was working in finance, and I received an offer to move to sales. They told me, you are not a finance person. Your personality.
I can vouch for that.
Because he's a finance person.
So they told me, you should not be in finance. You should move to sales. You'll do more. You'll do better in sales. And my childish brain at that time thought, no. You did 4.5 years of university studying accounting. You better stay in finance.
Okay.
So I stayed in finance.
And
But life moves on. I don't think not moving from finance to sales was a mistake. Sometimes you make the best out of what you have.
That's true.
And when it comes to finance, I have reached the pinnacle of the finance careers, becoming a chief financial officer of an investment bank, and I think I did well.
Oh, so you were a finance person.
Yes, yes,
That's excellent.
yeah. So I did my bit in finance, and then here I am today. I left the finance, and I'm dividing my time between speaking, writing, and traveling, and that's what I do.
So, did the Unilever experience help shape this person that you are today? What would you say about that?
Absolutely, because when you get out from Bahrain, you see the world, and you meet with different people from different countries with different cultures, and you see what they do in their lives.
Yeah.
You become exposed to what they are doing, and you emulate them. You do better things for yourself. You know, imagine if you are a Bahraini person, or for that sake, any nationality. You are born in your respective country, you study there, you work there, you don't travel, you don't see anything. You are living in a very closed circuit.
Right.
While you go to a multinational company or you travel beyond your borders, you meet other people, so you learn from them and you grow in the process.
Do you
So
have
to move from finance to being a motivational speaker and writer, that's a big move. What was that, a conscious decision?
It was a conscious decision because I always wanted to get out from finance. Although I was doing very well, I wanted to get out from finance because I knew I could do better things outside the finance profession. For example, let me give you a typical day in my finance career. And when I was a chief financial officer of a listed company in Bahrain and in Kuwait, I had to deal with so many regulators. I had to deal with Bahrain Stock Exchange. I had to deal with the Kuwait Stock Exchange. I had to deal with the Central Bank of Bahrain, Department A, Department B, Department C. Okay? So now we have how many regulators? Five.
5?
Then you have the Ministry of Commerce in Bahrain. You have the Ministry of Commerce in Kuwait. You have the Ministry of Finance in Kuwait. You have the Ministry of Labor in Kuwait. Then you have the Capital Market Authority in Kuwait. So this is just the regulatory side. So can you imagine what other things I had to deal with? And that was too much. I thought I could do better for myself, being a speaker, being a writer, being a traveler, and follow that passion. Although it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. It's challenging. You need to have very thick skin to continue in this field. Otherwise, you'll be wiped out very easily.
Right. I mean, being a speaker it's all about projecting yourself as a certain personality that people may not necessarily relate to but would love to listen to, right?
Yeah.
So because you were in leadership positions yourself, is that something that was a byproduct of it, or this is something that you've always been as a child who was comfortable being in front of people and doing this public speaking
No. I
bit?
wasn't comfortable at all. You know, I was always escaping speaking at schools. You know, I remember I had a very terrible speech when I was only 13. I was in a community hall and someone just pulled me to the side. I said, "You're a clever student, right?" I said, "Yeah." So this is a speech. Go and deliver this speech. I said, "Now?" "Yeah, now." "Not now. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10." So I delivered the most horrifying speech in my life when I was 13, and I always escaped from opportunity to speak in public. But when I reached university, I thought, you know, after university or working, you cannot escape speaking. So you better start. And that's where I started developing my public speaking skills from university.
Okay.
I was reading books. That time there was no YouTube, so you cannot watch YouTube and learn. So it was mainly reading books and getting any opportunity to speak. So if a professor says, "Who can deliver a presentation on this topic?" I'll just raise my hand and deliver.
Okay.
That transition is difficult from finance to speaking. I've done it as well.
As a lecturer.
That's why I became a lecturer, because it improved your speaking. So when you speak to a group, are you concentrating on a spot at the end of the room or looking at different people?
No, what I teach people is very simple. You need to look at everyone. look at all corners. You should, there are some, nonsense public speaking tips. For example, you just speak to their heads.
Yeah.
They speak to their heads, and you don't have to worry about making eye contact. People know when you're looking at them. People know. So I would divide my eye contact towards different areas within the whole, and it becomes difficult when you are speaking in a very large venue. So, but when you are in a small venue, you can easily connect better with the audience members when you are looking at them. They can feel it.
Yeah.
They can feel it.
And I think preparation definitely does help if you're prepared well and you know. But I think a lot of things you also improvise depending on how the audience is reacting to a certain speech of yours.
Of course, when the audience is fun and they like to have fun, I'll be more funny. If the audience is serious, I'll be damn serious. For example, I was speaking to a military client, and as part of the preparation for that workshop, I sent them a questionnaire, and they filled the questionnaire. I saw the responses, but then I always had this question in the back of my mind. So I called the training officer and I said, look, do they like to have humor in the workshop? He said, no. So now I know, no humor. So I have to be serious, just like the audience. So the audience will always decide what kind of styles you have, what kind of content do you have, so that you become successful with that audience in delivering the messages you want.
You have this Accelerate Academy.
Yeah.
Yes. So can you tell us about that, please?
All right, Accelerate Academy. Let me go back to 2011, January 2011. I had a different brand. It was called 3D Speaking. And 3D Speaking was all about speech coaching and public speaking courses. That was it. Eventually, I moved to so many other areas, and 3D Speaking became a restricting name. So while people were complaining about Corona and COVID-19, I was sitting on my dining table. I had a very big page from a sketchbook. I was thinking of a new name that could encompass everything that I'm doing. And Accelerate Academy came out from that exercise. So Accelerate Academy, I focus on things that will accelerate the results you seek, whether you're in sales, whether you're in HR, whether it's your career. So that's why I have these 4 books from Accelerate Academy. And I played with the spelling. So instead of ACC, I made it X.
Excellent.
And when I check this name on the web, I go to a website just to check whether the domain is taken or not. If it's not taken, you know you're into something good. So now I'm very happy. The name is very strong, Accelerate Academy, and hopefully it will become a very strong brand. I'm planning so many things for this brand, Accelerate Academy. The books is one side, the workshops is another. Planning to have online courses as well. It will be a fully fledged academy, not only on Bahrain level, international.
That sounds really, really promising. So we also wanted to know that Corona was a time when a lot of people weren't really doing anything, and you took that opportunity to build something.
Yes.
Where does that come from? The fact that when the whole world is down in the dumps, you found something to inspire you and build something. Where did that come from?
All right. I'll tell you something that might surprise people. I made more money during Corona than the previous years. Okay? So, and that doesn't come because of the situation you're in or the time you're in. It's what you have built throughout the years. So during Corona, a friend of mine who I met many, many years ago, she called me and said, Mohammed, there is this consulting opportunity for 3 months. It could be extended for 6 months. What do you think? I said, let's go. That's it. So from that consulting opportunity, I did so much work for this company, and because I saw so many issues, so many problems, so many challenges they are facing, guess what happened? I'm writing a book about that experience. It's called On Assignment. And in that book, I'll be sharing the things that I shared with the company. Of course, I'll not mention the name of the company. And that book will be very useful for anyone who's working in a company, a business leader or an employee. It would be a must-read book for anyone. And in the future, if someone tells me, so tell us about your experience, I can hand them a book. And I tell them, this is only 6 months. So I'm using any opportunity that comes to my way.
Okay,
That's what I'm doing.
So that is what you do. You plug wherever there is a gap and you're able to fill it, you turn that into a major opportunity for yourself.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Because, if we are alert to opportunities that come our way, we will capture them. But if we are not, if we are busy, if we are pretending to be busy, then we are missing out all these opportunities.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So, before we started recording, you were telling us about a visit you had to the base camp of Everest and how you'll be able to talk about that to your clients and how they can get something from it.
Yeah.
Can you explain that, please? Because I think, Anita, that we should take some of these podcasts outside this room,
Yeah.
and do them somewhere else.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Sure, absolutely. When I decided to go to Everest Base Camp, and it was a decision on the spot like this. Everest is a name that will always make you feel, oh, Everest.
Yeah.
So I was flipping through my Instagram, and there was a sponsored ad, Everest Base Camp, for an Omani gentleman. His name is Dr. Ali Al-Ajmi. And I immediately sent him a message. Is there a space? He said, yeah, there is a space. I said, okay. I'm interested. And we exchanged a few messages, and then we moved from Instagram to WhatsApp. And then I asked him a few questions, and then he said, why don't I call you and clarify all the questions you have? I said, yeah, why not? He called me up and said, I have one question. Can we get hot water over there? He said, you can buy it. I said, that's it, I'm going.
Okay.
That's it. So I was worried about the hot water because I don't like cold water at all. So now the decision is made. Going on an adventure that will push your limits, whether mental or physical, is so nice to me because this is going beyond my comfort zone.
Yes.
It will expand my comfort zone. But at the same time, I'm thinking, as a speaker, how can I capitalize on this? So before departing from Bahrain, I already had a folder full of folders.
Okay.
So from March, I started promoting the trip with informational posts on my Instagram. And then in April, I started having inspirational posts about mountaineering. In May, everyone was following me on my Instagram, my travel Instagram, which is Nomad973. And I had a folder called Leadership Lessons from Everest. So the speech title was already there. And that's how I'll make money out of this trip. So that's how I think. And we have one bookmark that I have made over here. It's a small bookmark, yeah? It has a few photos from the expedition. And this is the first thing that I'm teasing people with. Now I have a brochure for my speech. I have the slides for the speech ready. And I'm ready to market the speech. And next week, I'll be delivering the speech in Bahrain. And I'll deliver it more as far as I know in Bahrain. And in November, I'm already booked for a conference to deliver the same speech. So the ball is out and the ball is rolling.
Excellent.
That's how I think.
So basically, life experiences become books and speaking material for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And in a way, that's great because a lot of people are actually very interested to know what those experiences are.
Yes.
And for them to maybe do the same
Yes,
in the future.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a great idea.
So where can we do our podcasts in future?
Yeah, absolutely.
First, we have to have those experiences, Ron.
You can do so many things through a podcast.
Yes.
I know someone, I don't know him personally, but a few years ago, before the pandemic, he went on a vacation for 90 days, not even worrying about finances,
Okay.
through his podcast.
Okay.
His podcast is always highly rated
Okay.
when it comes to the segment of entrepreneurship. So the guy, he's living the life he always dreamed. Okay, so can you think of anyone you know who went on a 90 days vacation?
No, that's tough.
Yeah. So he went on 90 days. He didn't care about the finances. He didn't care about the cost because he was making so much money out of the podcast.
Okay, so now we have to step out of that and move into the SME segment, because I believe that
Yes.
you've been a consultant, a business coach to a lot of companies here in Bahrain. What, according to you, should a SME or a startup, take care of? Like, what are the top 3 things that they have to take care of if they want to be sustainable as a
All right.
business?
Maybe I'll step back before that question and address this important issue.
Okay.
Because now everyone's talking about startups.
Yes.
Everyone's starting a company.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that way. It should be in a way where you find a gap, you find an opportunity, and address that opportunity. Because everyone else is starting a business, it doesn't mean you have to start a business.
Yes.
And unfortunately, this is what's happening to many startups. So this is one: make sure you have the right idea, the right approach, because not because everyone is doing it, you should be doing it.
Yeah.
So this is the first thing. Now, when it comes to startups, what are you serving? Customer experience should be the first thing they think about.
Right.
What is the customer experience you're given? How is it different from the rest?
Right.
This is one thing. The other thing is cash flows.
Yes.
Cash flows. Cash is king, they say. I would say cash is the king, cash is the queen, cash is the prince,
Absolutely.
cash is the princess,
Yeah.
cash is everything. So take care of your cash,
Yeah.
don't burn it. Third thing, you need to be adaptable. You need to adjust. Don't think you can influence the market or the taste of consumers or customers, because you're just a small player. When you're a startup, you're a small company.
Yeah.
There is no startup that begins so big. So
Correct.
make sure you listen to the market before you move, and test your product every now and then. Even big companies, they test their products all the time.
True.
So if you're a startup, you better test all the time.
Right. I think this is such fantastic piece of advice. Look for giving great customer experience. Make sure that there is always cash on you.
Yes.
And the third being,
Test
test the market.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you do that, don't you?
Yes. Do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's and have the right advisors around you. Because if I go to my closer friend and I give him an idea, I say, what do you think? Oh, great. They always say great.
good things, yeah.
Sometimes it's good to go and speak to negative people. Sometimes
Yeah.
speak to negative people. They have some good usage at times. They say, no, what about this? And then you should evaluate what they say.
Yeah. The naysayers.
Yes. So
Yeah.
just take advice from different people so that you get different opinions. So if you have friends, if you have an engineer, a lawyer, an accountant, ask all of them, because they have different perspectives
Yes.
on the products or the services you will offer.
I think
I
that's
don't think
great
that's
insight.
necessarily negative, is it? It's just a different point of view.
Yes.
Yes.
You give
yes.
me a plan and I
Yes.
say, no, I don't think that's going to
Yeah,
work.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But sometimes when people go and ask for advice, and if somebody isn't saying what they want to hear, they get
Yeah.
upset.
Yeah.
So when you are an entrepreneur, you have to be open to
Of
all
course.
kinds of opinions.
That we go back to this term, thick skin.
Yes.
Thick skin. You need to
Yeah.
have thicker skin.
Absolutely.
And just going back to your point, it's good to have different perspectives, and it's good to speak to specifically negative people. We had someone in the company. He will always say, "What if? What if?"
When you
What
worked
if?
in banks, I'm sure the back office who were calculating all the recalculating the projections from your customers, I'm sure they were very negative, most of them.
It's good to have negative feedback from the customers, because that's the way you improve.
Yes.
But companies, unfortunately, they don't capitalize on that. Now, if you're a bank, if you're a company, go to your Instagram feed, go to your Facebook, go to your LinkedIn page, and see what the customers are saying.
Talking about, yeah. See
And
the
you are
comments.
lucky to get them, because sometimes there are what I call the silent complaints. And I have an example that I can share. I was dealing with a press house in Bahrain, and I printed one book. And in my mind, I thought, that's it. I found the right partner. I'll be printing all my books with this press house.
Okay.
So I was planning to publish another book. The material was ready, and they gave me 3 options for the designs that I didn't like at all. So I went to a friend of mine. I said, "Can you design a sample chapter?" And he designed a sample chapter with his own layout. So I went to them and said, "I want something like this. Can you do this?" He said, "No, no, no. We cannot do this. We gave you 3 options. You have to choose one of the 3 options." And I thought, but
You're the
I'm the customer.
Yeah.
I need to choose. I need to decide. He said, "Or if you insist on this design, you tell your friend who made this sample chapter to do the whole thing and give us the PDF and we will print it." And I thought, all right.
You take your
I
business
went
somewhere else.
to another press house in Bahrain. And that's it. And since then, I printed 7 or 8 books. So they lost so much.
Business, exactly. Yeah.
This is what I call the silent complaint.
Right.
Yes, you just take your business.
Yeah.
Customers take their business
Yeah.
elsewhere.
We have switching
Yeah.
power. We can switch anywhere we like.
Absolutely. There are no dearth of choices at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what's the future for you, Mohammed?
The future looks bright.
I love that.
Why am I not surprised? He said.
As bright as my head. Yeah. See, I think there is this quote. I don't know from whom I heard, but this is something we need to always think about. If our life was a ship, we should be the captain of the ship. You should steer it left and right. You should be in control. Yes, the wind may come from all kind of directions, but we need to steer the ship in a certain direction. So people who complain about their future and not being bright, they should look at themselves. They should look at the mirror and they'll find the reason why it's not bright. Because think about it. Many people think about losing weight.
Okay.
Then you go and
Why is he looking at me?
yeah.
No, he's looking at
No, you're good. You're good. So they think of losing weight, and then you go and see their diet habits. It's not helpful at all. They don't exercise. What do you expect the result would be? You wouldn't lose weight. If you're complaining about your job, that you hate your job, you don't like it, and you want to move somewhere else, what are you doing to move somewhere else? There are so many opportunities, especially this days and age. Now, I can be a full-time employee and I can make so much money behind my working hours using the internet, the e-commerce, Amazon fulfillment program, so many things. You can do freelancing. I hired a freelancer from India. And she did some work for me. It's more of research work. In her profile, it said, not she, the website that I was using, she earned $250,000 from that website. So the website is calculating how much she made.
Is that true?
Yeah. So when I spoke to her, she had a different approach. You can sense she's serious. I had a Zoom call with her and said, "Mohammed, look, when you are dealing with me, you don't have to worry about anything. I have 3 internet connections. So I'll be online all the time. Whenever you need me, I'll be there." So this is only $250,000 from one website. I would imagine she's working on the different platforms.
As a freelancer.
Yes, as a freelancer. So
know what I'm
all
doing.
you need to have is a
Running
laptop,
companies.
an internet connection. That's it. So this is the age we're living in. We don't have dearth of opportunities. We have ample opportunities. So people need to utilize this.
Yeah.
But people are not paying attention. We mentioned this earlier. There are opportunities that come our way. We just don't pay attention.
Yeah.
We need to pay attention.
Pretty amazing. So I have 2 questions regarding SMEs before we kind of, wrap it up. First is, do you think that Bahrain has a good ecosystem in terms of supporting the SMEs and the startups?
We have a more than good system. There are support schemes everywhere. But I see it in a different way.
Okay.
The grapes, when you grow grapes, sometimes they don't give the grapes so much water.
Okay.
Because the roots will grow
Deeper.
deeper and deeper and they'll become stronger. So the grapes tree would become stronger.
Right.
Now, what happens if you give so much funding to a startup? They get used to too much funding.
Yeah, it's
They don't
easy.
feel it. So sometimes I think we need to scrutinize the applications. We need to make sure we're giving the right funds to the right startups,
Right.
so that we don't squander the budgets we have. We don't squander the funds we have. So Bahrain has a very good support system, but I think we need to be careful. People should not be taking it for granted that we have all these support schemes. We can always tap into these support schemes. No, we should tighten.
Yeah. You should
the-
do your.
the-
I mean,
the-
they should
the
do their due
taps
diligence.
of funding
Yeah.
on these
Yes.
startups.
Right. So, also, do you have any idea of how these SMEs can access these funds and this support?
There are many ways they can do this. One is the UNDP program.
Okay.
They have an office in Bahrain. They have so many programs for entrepreneurs and startups. We have Tamkeen, of course, and we should not ignore the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, because they have so many schemes for supporting manufacturing.
Okay.
So we shouldn't be just looking for technology startups. We should look everywhere. There are so many accelerators, not many. We have two main accelerators in Bahrain. We have Brink Battleco, we have Flat Six Labs.
Yes.
So you can validate your ideas through these programs. And I went through one of them. It was Six Flat Labs. I had an Indian partner. We were working on a blockchain project.
Okay.
And he said, Muhammad, why don't we do something for the pearling industry in Bahrain?
Okay.
And my daughter is called Dana. So I thought, yeah, why not? After all, my daughter is called Dana, and Dana is the most precious pearl. So we wanted to do a technology project that will transform the pearling industry in Bahrain and then in the Gulf. Because, Bahrain is very well known for
Yeah.
the pearls since a long time. So we wanted to have this project, and we thought, why not go into an acceleration program and validate the idea? So out of 200 applicants, we were chosen out of 19. We were top 19 in this project. We went through the whole project, and then we discovered technically it was not feasible. Because what we wanted to do is we wanted to be able to track the sources of pearls
Right.
and make an inventory system, centralized inventory system, to help the pearl merchants produce more jewelry.
Okay.
Now, if you make a necklace, it would take you 5 to 10 years to make the perfect necklace.
Okay.
And then you'll sell it for $500,000 dinar or $1 million dinar or 1.5 million dinars. But it would take 5 to 10 years. We wanted to shortcut the cycle. What if a merchants can make this in 6 months?
Okay.
That would be nice. Making $500,000 every 6 months, better than making $500,000 every 10 years. But then the tracking, the technicality of that was not there, because we sat with pearling experts. Ultimately, we shelved the project. So sometimes if you have an idea, validate it. And instead of putting all your money behind the project before testing, join an acceleration program, see what they are
Feasibility,
doing,
yeah.
take their feedback and move on. So there are so many things you can do before you can
Yeah.
burn your cash.
Yeah, I mean that's really good to know that you went through this, and that's amazing.
Yeah, I need to practice what I preach.
Yes. So, would you also have any insight on? Do you want to ask that question?
Well, you just said something very important there. Practice what you preach, because many motivational speakers are only speakers,
Yeah.
correct? So you're practicing what you say as well.
Yes. It's very important. Yeah, otherwise, how can you add value? Now, when someone approaches me for a course or a workshop or a keynote, the first thing I ask myself, can I add value using my own experience? Not reading a book,
Yes.
not reading a case study.
It's not just do as I say, it's
No.
do as I do or
Yeah,
do as I
absolutely,
did.
absolutely. And there is another problem with the speakers, that on the stage they are someone else. Off the stage, they are someone else.
Really?
So they don't sync. You can rarely find speakers who are the same, off stage, on the stage.
So you have to be your authentic self.
Yeah, if you're not authentic, there's no point at all. Yeah, you
Yes.
need to be authentic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So now for any startup, in your experience, if they want to be sustainable, what is that tipping point for them, you think, that would help them go from a local to a regional and a regional to a global company? Because I think that we have a lot of local companies,
Yeah.
local companies that do well,
Yes.
and maybe some regional companies, but hardly any global companies in Bahrain.
Well, you know, there is a program now from my insider information in Bahrain.
Okay.
They are trying to bring a unicorn startup from Bahrain. And a unicorn startup is a startup that will be valued at $1 billion.
Yeah, $1 billion.
So they are working on that. Hopefully, we will see that happen. Maybe 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. I think whatever it takes, we need to have projects come out from Bahrain. And we have very good projects in Bahrain. I think the limiting factor would always be what kind of projects do you have? What kind of industry do you have? For example, a few weeks ago, I was mentoring startups, and one of them, he had this great idea, a great product. He's selling tea, his own blend.
Okay.
So he has an agreement with a factory in Sri Lanka where they send him the right blend, no colors, no staples in the bags, no gum, no. The tea tastes fantastic. Now, how can you take a local idea like this and make it international? That would be a killer, because tea is already a contested market.
Yes.
Unilever sold a Lipton brand.
Yeah.
So if Unilever sold a Lipton brand, how can you compete in that kind of a market? But if you're technology based, you can compete. A friend of mine, his name is Hamza, and his partner is Nabil. They have a new startup, and this is a very promising startup. I think this startup will be something great to Bahrain. It's called Face Key. It's facial recognition for security identification. So if you want my password for conducting a transaction, I don't have to give it to you. They have a technology where I can give you access using your face.
Okay.
Okay, so you will scan your face, you send it to me, I send it to my app, then my app will grant you access only once. So this is the technology. Of course, there's so much details in it, but this is the overview of.
But
So they already have more than 10,000 customers internationally.
So I think tech startups tend to be more scalable than others.
Yes, tech startup, because you can be in Bahrain and you can be anywhere else. I'll give you another example. And I like this project because it's a learning platform.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Limify, and I know the CEO personally. He's the co-founder. I know the other employees in this company. And Limify, they have done so well.
They're in Bahrain?
They are based in Bahrain.
Okay.
And I'll be meeting them next week to plan for. I'm giving them this speech very soon. So I'm meeting the CEO Ahmed to discuss how we can move forward with this. It's a learning platform. They are already everywhere. They are already in Europe. They are already in the Far East. They're already in the Gulf.
Okay.
And basically they are solving a very big corporate problem. Let's say you're an employee of mine and I'm your boss. We come to the annual appraisal and I tell you, you need to work on this, you need to work on that, you need to do more on this. And then you go out of the meeting, you accepted, you signed the form, but you go out of the meeting and say, how can I do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lumify solves that problem because they integrate the appraisal process through the learning they have
To bridge the gap. Oh,
Simple.
that's interesting.
So I, as a manager, I can see what are you doing. I can see that you're taking courses. I can see your progress. You as an employee, now you are relieved because now you can prove you have been working on improving these gaps.
Yes.
So there are so many ideas we need to implement and
really like that one.
and
It's
execute.
really good. So, Mohammed, that brings us to the end of our podcast. I mean, we have tons of other questions, but in the interest of time, I think what we've asked you addresses the most pertinent ones. Is there something that you'd like to add as your closing for the podcast?
I always have this statement that I say in certain keynotes.
Okay.
We are all work in progress. That's WIP. Economists, engineers, and finance professionals, they know this term. WIP, work in progress. We are all work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment we think we are a finished product, we are finished. So you need to think of yourself as always a work in progress.
Yeah.
You need to evolve, you need to improve, you need to learn forever. That's how you succeed.
And that's how he's positive all the time.
And that's why it's a nice ending also.
It is. Excellent.
I think we could have done about 3 or 4 podcasts with
With
Mohammed, couldn't we?
And
It would
in
be
the
my
future, why
pleasure.
not?
Why
we
not?
would. We're
Why
going to
not?
pick your brains.
But next time we should have the food during the podcast. Because I
Yeah.
have been looking at this all the time.
We normally do, but we were transfixed by what you were
okay.
saying,
Yeah.
so we didn't have
Yeah,
time.
Okay.
kind of the food got ignored there.
No, we will not ignore the food.
So yes, thank you so much, Mohammed, and it's been
My pleasure.
really a pleasure
Thank
to
you so
have
much.
you.
I wish you all the best.
It feels like a complete podcast today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, to all our viewers, thank you for watching the podcast. Do follow us on Instagram at mhconsultants_Bahrain. And the podcast is on MH Consultants on YouTube. So, thank you again.
Thank you very much, and thank you for Mohammed.
Thank you.
Yes, always.
All right.
Cut.